Yeah, okay, mate. Interesting here on hype. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, Pentosi. He used to be fairly good. I think he's been less active, possibly, but the market's been terrible for a long period of time, so I don't blame him. Uh, there's a time for fishing and there's a time for trading, but the market is getting closer. You know, coming into a new year, there's always a rotation of capital into the start of a new year, so the market will start to heat up again soon. But it is very important to kind of look at this right now because sometimes you bottom before a new year and it bounces and then you get a pullback and you know then you're away into a new year. Is that the case? Let's look into it. Now, I don't know. I'm on KuCoin here. I don't know if this is accurate or not. I don't really trust it. It's KuCoin on Binance, I suppose, but a lot of times on the USD on Coinbase there is no large wick. Now markets do like bottom on this sort of pattern, which is a deviation, right? So you can see there's a slight deviation here as well, right on that low. Um, Not really in the strong uptrend. You know, you get your higher lows and the higher highs. But you know, the big question is this the low, right? So there is something here. There definitely is something here. There is a new 3 day today. Let's just delete some of that stuff. Um, yeah, very nice 3 day candle, right? So and it's also probably 61% retrace of this candle right down into here, just by eyeballing it. Suppose we could have a little look there. It's a little bit more actually. It's pierced to 61% and almost down to 78%. So it's a good area, right? It is into that area where you would like to see a bit of a bounce on that. Um, I don't know if we're going to get that, but if we do get the wick fill here, now this may roll in because it's only what day is it today? Friday, almost Friday. Um, yeah, look at that. That's what I was looking for. So you can see that this red weekly candle, if there's no large upside, but even if there is large upside, there's still a large wick there in the meantime. So I think I would be looking for a wick fill or trading a new weekly candle. You may not even need a wick fill. Sometimes, you know ourselves when there's a real bottom. Sometimes you don't get a wick fill. I'm not saying all the time, but the odd time there's no wick fill. But an ideal situation is there's something like this would play out, and then it would try to move back to the upside to take liquidity in these, even though that's not a great liquidity grab because it's already taken liquidity in the first one. There's not that much liquidity in the one candle. That's the liquidity grab candle, but it still could come up into it. So definitely interesting. It is a new 3 day right now. Is this going to move up? I would like it to drop a bit more to be buying down in here. You can see right through the weekly, something like that. So any dip down in here, it may be worth a punt and at least looking for a bit of a low. I want to see a 2 week. What is happening here? So you can see exactly. I mean, a 2 week. There's a bullish 2 week stop punt at the moment. If it can hold and try and get some upside. Also, very importantly, let's just delete that other stuff. Uh, Importantly, look where we're coming back into. Right? We were coming. Sorry, it froze there. We're coming right back into a very, very important level. So this is a big, big level for a potential punch, right? It's the previous resistance now becoming support, uh, at least potentially. So dips anywhere dips down to fill this candle is kind of into a support zone in along here. The other thing, I'm starting to see these candles all over the market, and not a lot of people watch the 3 to 3 week chart, but on Bitcoin and here on Hype, even on Ethereum, there's these very nice candles forming. Now there's 16 days left. There's a long way to go in them, but there's something happening here, right? If these can hold up, and they may actually flip green, this might already be a bullish top hunt, and we may be in the process of forming a green candle because there's 16 days left. So if we look at it like that, there could be a green candle already forming, right? So we need to kind of take that seriously. If it closes like this in 15 days time, which is into the end of the year, of course it's the 12th today, there's a very real possibility that we would get a move up from here because we're bottoming on this 3-week doji and to get a move up. So there is something happening here. Uh, Last time there was a doji, is a bit of a doji there. But the next 3-week candle was higher, was green. Just want to see these. 9-week is very far down. Right, it's got this wick here. Let me just check a different chart. Even Binance US does not have this giant wick down. It's a it's USD chart. So the USD pairs, do not have this wick, and you can see what's happening here on this rollover. Here's an interesting chart here. Here's a better one actually. This is more real. It's a US dollar chart on PYTH path exchange. I don't really know it, to be fair. I don't really check it. Uh, oh, it's got no volume either, actually. Um, yeah, anyway, it's got no volume here, but you can see there's no wick down on the 10th of October. Hmm. This is not a great candle, right? That's a 6 months candle. It's not great at all. And a low, I would prefer to be buying below there somewhere. So, bounces could come on down here to look to buy that for a real reversal. So I would suggest that there's a possibility that hype is not, the low is not in, but there could be a near term bounce, right? It's a very real possibility. Because obviously there's a long way down. Look at this. This is a long, long way down. How accurate is this chart on PYTH? I think it's fairly accurate, but there's something happening here, right? There is something trying to have a short-term bottom. The 3-week, the 2-week, obviously the weekly, they're all kind of falling onto the same boat at the moment. But we do have a potential entry point, which is a wick fill of here. So I think with the conclusion that we have so far, I think that wick fills here, if given that opportunity. It's a pretty long wick, um, either on the 3-day or the weekly. It looks like a buy down here for a short-term bounce. So I would have to say I agree with this. I think there's a short-term bounce, but later we could go a bit lower. Anyway, mate, yeah, I hope it helps, and I hope you're well.